The Democratic Party is one of the two major political parties in the United States, alongside the Republican Party. Its history stretches back to the early 19th century, making it one of the world's oldest active political organizations. Understanding the Democratic Party involves looking at its origins, values, ideals, key moments, and the impact it continues to have on American society and politics. The roots of the Democratic Party trace back to Thomas Jefferson and James Madison, who founded the Democratic-Republican Party in the 1790s, in opposition to Alexander Hamilton's Federalist Party. Their idea was strongly connected to the belief in more power for states and less centralization at the federal level. In the 1820s, as political dynamics changed, a faction led by Andrew Jackson shaped a new, more populist movement that eventually became known as the Democratic Party. In 1828, Andrew Jackson was elected the nation's 7th president as the party's standard-bearer, and his presidency is widely recognized as the Democratic Party's beginning in its modern form. At its origins, the Democratic Party represented the interests of the common man, farmers, laborers, and frontiersmen, advocating for westward expansion and opposing what they saw as the elitism of their opponents. Over time, the party's principles and coalitions evolved, and so did its stance on key issues. Throughout the 19th century, the Democratic Party played a central role in American politics. Its dominance was especially strong in the South, where it became synonymous with the defense of states' rights and, regrettably, the institution of slavery. This legacy is a complex and often troubling one, especially in relation to the Civil War and Reconstruction periods. After the Civil War, the party was associated with opposition to civil rights measures during much of the 19th and early 20th centuries. However, the party's ideological orientation began to change in the early 20th century, particularly under figures like President Woodrow Wilson. The Great Transformation came during the 1930s, with the leadership of President Franklin D. Roosevelt. Confronted with the hardships of the Great Depression, Roosevelt and the Democratic Party embraced a bold vision for change. The New Deal. This series of programs, public works projects, and regulations expanded the federal government's role in the economy, created Social Security, established protections for workers, and helped reshape American society. The New Deal coalition, uniting urban workers, minorities, progressive intellectuals, Southern whites, and labor unions, made the Democrats the dominant force in American politics for decades to come. The Democratic Party also played significant roles in later social and economic reforms. In the 1960s, under Presidents John F. Kennedy and Lyndon B. Johnson, the party championed civil rights legislation, paved the way toward ending racial segregation, and established Medicare and Medicaid. Johnson's vision, known as the Great Society, sought to eliminate poverty and promote equality. This commitment to social justice, economic opportunity, and civil rights has remained at the core of the Democratic Party's identity. Over time, the party attracted different groups: African Americans, young people, immigrants, and city dwellers, shifting the traditional definitions of its base. At the same time, the party lost its stranglehold on the South, as backlash to its support for civil rights laws prompted many voters and politicians to realign with the Republican Party. Ideologically, the Democratic Party is generally associated with liberal or progressive policies. Democrats tend to believe in a more active role for government in ensuring economic fairness, protecting the environment, safeguarding civil rights, and providing social services. They support a mixed economy, where free enterprise operates alongside government regulation and public investment. The party advocates for policies such as raising the minimum wage, expanding access to health care, protecting voting rights, ensuring equal pay for equal work, and supporting the rights of marginalized groups. On foreign policy, while there are substantial internal variations, Democrats are often more likely than Republicans to support diplomacy, multilateralism, and international cooperation, though this is not universally true and has differed by context and leadership. The Democratic Party is a big tent party, meaning it accommodates a wide range of views within its ranks. This includes moderates, progressives, and even some who identify as democratic socialists. The party holds regular conventions where delegates from all states debate and establish a platform, a statement of principles and policy goals that guides its candidates. The Democratic National Committee oversees the organization of the party and works to elect candidates at all levels of government. Nationally, Democratic voters select their presidential nominee through a series of state primaries and caucuses, culminating in the Democratic National Convention, where the nominee is formally chosen. Several of America's most notable presidents have been Democrats, including Franklin D. Roosevelt, John F. Kennedy, Lyndon B. Johnson, Jimmy Carter, Bill Clinton, Barack Obama, and Joe Biden. Each brought their own vision and responded to the issues of their time, contributing to the party's evolving identity. Today, the Democratic Party continues to be shaped by ongoing debates and emerging priorities. Climate change, healthcare reform, racial justice, immigration, and economic inequality remain central themes. At the heart of its agenda is the belief in expanding opportunity, protecting democracy, and striving for a more inclusive society. Party supporters often see themselves as defenders of the underrepresented and believe that government can and should play a role in addressing society's problems. Critics may view Democrats as favoring too much government intervention or being out of touch with certain segments of America, especially in rural areas. The party's future remains dynamic and, like any political organization, subject to the pressures and passions of the moment. Generational changes, demographic shifts, and technological advancements continue to influence its strategies and priorities. Understanding the Democratic Party is about more than just policy positions or electoral victories. It's about a long tradition of debating and redefining what it means to pursue liberty, equality, and justice in a changing world. The party's journey mirrors the story of the United States itself. Complex, sometimes contradictory, ever-evolving, and always at the center of the nation's ongoing experiment in democracy.